The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday morning. Happy Friday morning, right? Oh my God. Has this not been a week? I mean, this has been a week, people. It's been a week. And I want to invite you to my brand new show. It's Just Kim, because you know what? It's just Kim. It's just me. I'm here just the mom, the preacher, the wife, the friend, the confidant, the employee, that girl, all of those folks, all those hats, I'm here. And I'm excited about this brand new show. You know, I just have to take that deep breath because right before we came on, I was talking with my producer and I was just sharing with him, I'm so nervous. And I've been doing, social media shows and podcasts and, things like that, vlogs for a minute. But, every time you do something new, it is, it's scary. I don't know any other way to describe it other than being a little on the scary side. And, you just have to sit back, take a deep breath, and just kind of move your way through it. So that's what I'm here for today. First of all, I just want to thank you for tuning in if you're here live or if you're watching the replay. But this is my opportunity to just share, to bring you into my space. You're in my home, my personal home office. And my husband calls it the Women's Empowerment Center because I wish I could turn the camera around and just show you my vision for my office. My vision for my office was that before we even moved in this house, my vision for this space, my space, was that I would have pictures of women um, all around this room, Black, strong women all around this room. And if I could just take that camera and just, do a 360 around here, you would see that, but you see sis over here. And she's got the head wrap on, she's proud. She's a Black woman. And then, I got this beautiful picture that the ladies at my church gave me years ago. And it has just a number of strong Black women in it. And some are women in history. But then there are some in that picture collage that are women of my history. So pictures of my mother, my friends, my sisters, my mother-in-law, my mother in love, God rest her soul, all these different people who are important in my life. And so I appreciate that. And then you see, I'm trying to get used to this TV stuff, y'all. So bear with me right here. This whole collage of butterflies. And so, as you saw in the intro of my show, the butterflies. And the significance of the butterfly for me is an awakening, being free, transitioning from one thing to the next, and being able to just blossom and be beautiful. And so I have this collage of butterflies here, and I wear this butterfly pendant here because I'm always reminding myself that, you know what, I can do it. I'm able, I'm beautiful, and I'm capable. And you know what? I've transformed. I have gone from, being one thing or one person to the next. And not just that, but I've grown. And so, the butterfly starts out in that cocoon and has to fight its way out of that tight, dark place. And let me tell you, I have fought my way out of some tight and dark places in my life. And so that's why it's so important to me to give back to other people, to share with other people, to be transparent with other people because we need each other. And you know what I've learned about this generation of people or this culture is that people like folks who are keeping it real. People like folks who are not pretending like they've always been perfect, like they've never made any mistakes, but you keeping it real. And let me tell you, I'm keeping it real, people. There are no secrets, there's nothing special. I'm not perfect. I love to put that out there. Not perfect, not even close to it. Make all kinds of mistakes on a daily basis. Have to ask for forgiveness just like everybody else. Hey, just because I'm the first lady slash co-pastor doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes, that I don't overstep, that I don't cross boundaries. Or sometimes maybe I just make God a little sad and I need to ask his forgiveness. So that's why I'm here. I'm here. So the first things first, right? The first thing I want to do, because it's our Friday, a very special lady used to say that all the time. Friday, Friday, it's Friday. And I want to use that. And the first thing I want us to do is just to celebrate today. Yeah, celebrate Friday because it is the end. For most of us, it's the end of a long, arduous week that we had. And, throughout this whole week, it was just for some of us, it was rough. I was working for work. Up to I know after 11, my boss and I were working up to about 11:30 last night, and I just I was tired when I went to bed, and I knew I had to get up and do this. Hey, I just saw my sweetheart. She said, Friday, there's my other sweetheart. Hey, family, tagging in. I love it. I am so excited that you are here. Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you for supporting your mama. Okay. Remember, y'all, I'm a mama, and those were my babies. Okay. They checking in, making sure y'all treat me right. But I also want us to not just celebrate today, but I want us to take a deep cleansing breath. So let's just do that for just a second. Let's just Did you do it? Did you take that deep cleansing breath like in through your nose and then just push it out through your mouth? Let's do it one more time. Yeah, sometimes you just have to take a deep breath because this life is a lot. It is a lot. And then today, the other purpose is I just want to share some tidbits. Yeah, Kwame, we needed that. Hey, Nunu. We need that deep cleansing breath. It's good for us. It may not seem physically like it does anything, but it does. It helps you to just kind of relax yourself and just to clear your mind so that you can just receive what's happening in this particular moment. And so that's what I want you to do. I want you to grab your coffee. Now, this is not coffee with Kim, but like we say with coffee with Kim, grab your coffee or your tea or whatever you have in your cup. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. But today I want you to engage me in the conversation if you are here. So I want to share some tidbits, but first I want to start with this mantra. And I think if this goes over well, I think we're going to keep doing this every Friday. Okay. So this mantra says, it is okay to not know everything, to make mistakes, to be yourself, to ask for help, to have bad days, to start over, to set boundaries, to be less than perfect. Ooh, let me say that one again. To be less than perfect, to do what's best for you, to say no. That's a complete sentence. Didn't you know that? No, and not to be okay. It's okay. Something that I want you to know. Please know that you are loved, that you are worthy, that your feelings are valid, and last but certainly not least, that you are enough. I wear this t-shirt because I like t-shirts with sayings. And so I wear this one t-shirt that says, "Girl, you are enough." And every time I wear that t-shirt, ladies all over the place, wherever I go, if I'm in the store, I'm at work, or wherever I wear that t-shirt, I always get stopped, and ladies will say to me, and not just sisters, but ladies of all colors will say, "Thank you. I am enough." So it's always so encouraging to them. And the last thing I want you to do is I want you to remember that you can be grateful. You can start over again. You can be kind to yourself, and you can celebrate what you have accomplished. And these are the things. This is our mantra. This is what I want us to declare to ourselves and for ourselves every Friday that we are here. Every Friday we are here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to tell you why I'm talking about this particular topic today. So this particular topic is on closure. And some people may say, "Well, why would you start with such a serious topic?" Well, I think finding closure is pretty serious, and I think it's necessary for us to become emotionally healthy. One of the things that I'm really in favor of people being emotionally as emotionally healthy as they possibly can be. Some of us struggle in that area. We get depressed, we have anxiety, we have negative thoughts about ourselves or negative thoughts about our situation and the people around us. um and sometimes that can be so overwhelming that it can just overtake a beautiful day, or it can overtake us and cause us not to function the way we really need to function in this life. And so I believe in, emotional health. I believe in that. I believe in therapy. Well, heck, I'm a therapist. I believe in doing whatever it takes for you to be okay in here and in here. Yeah, all of that has to work together in order for you to function as a person who's emotionally in a good place. This and this has to meet up, and you have to be clear about where you really are. So I think the last 3 years was so troubling, and I don't want to say the pandemic, but it was, all of that we were going through, and in some cases still going through. I think it's become more normalized now, and we've accepted it as part of our society. Just like the common cold, one time was serious stuff, and then the flu, and all of that is still very serious. Hey, cousins. Hey, cousins. Thank you for joining me today. You know, I know that the last 3 years was a whirlwind. It was a complete whirlwind, and, folks are still going through some things. Mhm. Yeah, people are still going through some things. Look, during that time, life happened, and life happened like it had never happened before, and it's still happening like it's never happened before, folks. It is. And so, during that time, we as a society, as a world, really, we experience loss and grief and different things that happened. We experienced those things like we never experienced them before. Let me just share. I had COVID in October of 2020. And I always joke with some friends and family, and I say, I had the OG COVID, okay? I didn't have that variant. I had the OG COVID. And so I found myself very, very, very sick. Hey, baby. Hey, hey, nephew. Love y'all. Thank you for coming in. I was very sick, and I am the kind of person, I don't get sick. Okay. I didn't get sick. And I had this COVID, and it gave me pneumonia. I had pneumonia for weeks after, the COVID had gone away. I was down, I was in the bed for over a month and, sequestered in my room for over 2 weeks. And I'm blessed because I wasn't as sick as others. Let me first say that. And God kept me and I survived. So I'm grateful for that. But there was a loss that I experienced from COVID. Like, I think they call it long haulers or something. But I still have some respiratory issues as it relates to COVID, having COVID 2 years ago. And I was diagnosed on October 13th, as a matter of fact. So it's 2 years ago now. And not only does it affect my breathing at times, but one of the things that it really did have an effect on was my ability to sing. And I feel like, I can still sing on the praise team in the choir and all those good things, but my voice is not what it used to be. Mm-mm. Not at all. Not even close to what it used to be. Now, I'm not saying that I was, some great singer or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying was I was a better singer. I had better vocals prior to having COVID than I do today. And it was a very scary thing for me to even try to get back to singing because I didn't like this new tone. I didn't like how I even hear music anymore. I mean, just all of that was affected. And so I had to come to the conclusion, because we're talking about closure, right? I had to come to the conclusion that for right now, this is what it is. So I'm giving it my best. I go to practice. I listen to my music. I try to do everything I'm supposed to do as a member of the praise team. But I know sometimes people are like, co-pastor singing over there? Because I know my vocals are not what they used to be. But hey, I'm giving it my best. I'm giving it my best. But let me just say this. Let's just talk a bit about what closure is. Okay. Because this is a really difficult subject. And sometimes it can be very confusing for people about closure. Because, most times when we talk about closure, we're talking about, I was in this bad relationship, or this, I had a job, or I had this or going on or that going on. And I need closure. So I need to confront this person or this situation, and I need to find closure. And sometimes, or most times, most times, let's just put it like that. Most times we walk away from that situation feeling very defeated, because you cannot put the responsibility of another person to give you closure. That's something you have to do within yourself. Okay. And when I get to the end of this, then you'll understand where I'm at with this. Okay. Because closure, okay, if we look at it as a definition, it means finality. Okay. Basically letting go of what once was. And it implies a complete acceptance now of what happened, and honoring the transition away from what has finished to what can become new. So I want you to think about that. Just give that a thought. And we're going to go to a quick break and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back because y'all know we got to pay the bills, right? Got to keep them lights on, okay? I got this big circle light over here. It has to stay on in order for the show to go on. So thank you. Thank you so much. So where we were, letting go of what once was. Ooh, that's a mouthful, right? Because sometimes we were very comfortable in what once was. I talk to elderly people all the time. I talk with them, and one of the things that they always talk about is what they were able to do years ago, or even before they became sick. They talk about, you know, boy, I sure miss being able to get up and do this and do that and go and come. And now I have to depend on other people, and so that's a lot to accept. You think about it, because most of us on here now, we're fairly youthful and we're able to take our places, ourselves where we need to go. We're able to put our own clothes on. We're able to just, take care of ourselves. And think about people who are not able to do that and how they have to come to grips or acceptance with this is how it is right now, and I need to make the best of this, or I need to honor this new transition in my life. And so I just kind of want to get to that point, when we accept and or we find closure in something, or we close a door in one area or place or with person in our life, we have to accept the new transition. We have to honor, that's it. We have to honor that new transition. So, this new place that I'm in now, these new people that I'm with now, this new place that I'm at now, um, I have to honor. I have to honor that newness, you know, and be okay with finishing up something or someone and moving on. Okay. And notice I didn't say finishing up with someone and moving on to someone new. No, sometimes you have to finish up. Listen here. You have to finish up with somebody and just be. Just take some time to woosah, get you together before you start moving on with somebody else. Because that just doesn't do anything but complicate situations. This is not a relationship topic today, so I'm not going to go there. But let me say this one thing. You don't want to keep moving on from people to people, person to person, relationship to relationship until you are healed. Now, does healed mean that you don't have any, little stuff, hanging on that you're kind of dealing with? No. No, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna forget everything that happened in that last relationship, but you're gonna be okay with the fact that it ended and it was what it was. Okay, that sounds very simplistic. So I'm gonna move on. So in other words, closure really it really implies, or it goes beyond these limitations that we have set for ourselves, that we can't have something different or we can't do something different. Closure says, yeah, we can close this door and we can move on to something different and we can be okay with that. I think our biggest enemy, or I've noticed that my biggest enemy to closure, is where we're looking for closure to come from, how we go about getting closure, or where we actually think we need to get closure from, right? So we most times we think we're supposed to get closure from people. Well, closure can't come from another person. It has to come from within. You have to close that door, whatever that door is, you got to close that door yourself. There's a cute little thing on Facebook. This little girl, her mom picks out her hair and makes it an afro. And she says, I don't like this hair. And her mom says, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to? She says, I want you to twist it. She said, I'm making a decision for myself. That is like one of my favorite videos, but I love it because she's looking at her mom, and not to be disrespectful, but to say, I'm making a decision for myself. So I'm making a decision for myself to close that door and to move on from there into something different, something better for my life. Okay. Um, Sometimes we think about closure, that it comes from other people, because we think that an interaction of something negative or a negative emotions about something, you know, comes from other people, or we give them a lot of control over that. So we think that if that person caused us to have these negative feelings, or we had a negative interaction with that person, then having a conversation with that person, or having that person give us closure, is the only way that we're going to get it. No, no. That person may never want to give you closure. They may never want to close the door. They may want to keep that door just cracked just a little bit, so that at their leisure, they can just walk on in and walk on out when they want to. You know, it's like having a code on your front door, and you had certain people coming in and out of your house, and when that relationship was over, what you gonna do? Change the code immediately without fail? Why? Because you don't want that same person or people or things or situation having access to you when they want to. No, that's up to you, boo. You take control of that. We can't let people have control of our feelings and all of that. And I think sometimes we think the closure is coming from other people, because we think we need to maybe sit down or meet with them and say, "Hey, I don't understand, why things happen the way that they did." I don't think it's that we don't understand. Come on, let's be honest. I think we understand, but I think we don't like the reason. And not liking the reason is different from not understanding it. So let's be honest with that. Okay. And then we also sometimes think that in closure, we're going to get some type of apology or acceptance or acknowledgement. Well, guess what? You may never get that. You may never get an apology. You may never get an acknowledgement, or any of that. That may never happen in this situation. You may get fired from a job. They may tell you, one thing on paper, but it's something else going on. And you may never really understand, or you may never really or find the acknowledgement or the acceptance, or you may never, really know what happened. And you know what? You may never find the type of closure that you're looking for from that entity, from that person. You got to find it within yourself. And I'm going to get to a point that I think will help us. One of the things that we can do, yeah, this is something that I think we can do, and I better go quick, is take full responsibility. It's up to you. Take full responsibility for finding closure and whatever that means, however you do that, because different people have to do it different ways. Some people go to therapy, some people read self-help books, some people do exercise, some people find different crowds of people to be with. Some people move to a new state, a new city. Some people move from one place to the next, to find the closure. And some people just close that door and never open it again to find that closure. So one of the questions you have to ask yourself, when you feel that you haven't gotten the closure that you need, is what am I holding on to, or who am I holding on to, and why? Why am I still holding on to something that needs to be gone? And not just that, does holding on to it make me happy, or does holding on to the situation make me think about the way it once was, how it used to be? And in my mind, does that make me happy? Am I just hanging on to that? Am I hanging on to what I wished it would have been? Or am I really taking a look at what it really is? What it really is. And sometimes, holding on is just an excuse to stay stuck. Ooh, it's an excuse to stay stuck. And when you stay stuck, what happens? You're unresolved. You're unresolved. So sometimes we got to let go of stuff, people, things, and be okay with that. I remember back during the time when the housing crisis took place, and we had quite a few properties, and people were losing properties left and right, and we were losing properties left and right. But I think the thing that really, and I'm just keeping it real, the thing that got to me the most, y'all, was the fact that the places where I was living, I was losing that, you know. And you think in your mind, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? What are people going to say? Where are we going to go? And we had to stop, reset, and figure it out. And guess what? We figured it out, and we closed those doors and opened up some new doors. And we had to be okay with that. Are we afraid of what the new outcome is going to be? Think about it. It's going to be different, because you're going to be different. The situation is going to be different. Maybe the people you're dealing with are going to be different. So are we afraid of that? Are we afraid of what's going to happen to us if we let go? Be honest with yourself, because being honest pays off. It really does. And being honest, you have to deal with the hurt, the pain, the disappointment that comes with that, because that's part of the process of closing a door, of finding closure within yourself. And then the second thing I want to say is, you know what? Take some time to grieve that loss. This is not about grief. This topic is not necessarily about grief, but grieving is a part of finding closure. And the thing about grief is that it doesn't happen one way. It happens differently in all people. So take your time with it. Don't set a time clock and say, by next year I want to be over this. No. And then don't let people tell you just move on. Girl, just move on. It's not that simple, especially when you've invested your time, your heart, yourself, your mind into a thing or a person. It's not that easy to just move on, But I will say this, your grieving shouldn't go on for years and years and years and years. Okay, that is being stuck. And when you see yourself being stuck, then that's when it's time for you to reach out and get the help that you need. Okay. And then the other thing you want to do is you want to gather your strengths, figure it out, start focusing on the positive stuff, dig into your talents, your gifts, surround yourself with new folks, people who are not rehearsing that old stuff. Emphasize the things that you need, emphasize the things that make you happy, and then take an assessment of yourself. But this is where I wanted to bring this whole thing to a close. Okay. And I want to say this, and I don't want you to walk away from here feeling defeated or upset, but this is just the truth. I want to land right here. I want to land right here by saying this, and this is hard to hear. But closure means that you have accepted, or you are accepting, that it couldn't have happened any other way. All that you went through, all that you experienced, what you lost, what what was taken, what you gave away, what you offered up, and how you experienced that. For you to be who you are and where you are and where you're going, it couldn't have happened a different way. It had to happen that way. And there's a number of explanations as to why it had to happen that way. And sometimes we don't know, but we do know that things happen, and the results of what happens are the fruits of that particular situation. And sometimes the fruit, will fall from the tree and it will rot to the ground, but then it'll turn into fertilizer to help other things grow. So, closure means accepting that it couldn't have happened. And that is so hard to hear, because there are so many reasons why people need to close a door in a certain situation and in their life. But just know that it couldn't have happened any other way. And you're going to be okay. This is what I want you to know. So if I was to preach a sermon, because this is not church, but I would let you know, you're going to be okay. And I would also let you know that closure has to come from within. It can't come from other people. And it's something that you have to accept in order to move on with your life. Let's just sit in that for a minute. Take another deep breath. Let's do it one more time. You're going to find that closure. It's going to happen. It's going to take some time. You may have to grieve a little bit, and accept that it couldn't have happened any other way. I love you. And I hope you join me, not next Friday, but the Friday after, for another time to share a special space with me, a special time with me, with my new show, It's Just Kim. You've been an awesome audience, and I appreciate you, and I love you. Peace.